Hey, what's up? DFS Rico coming at you with my picks and insight for this League of Legends, LPL, and LCK 4-game slate on Friday, June 19th. We got a 4-game slate heading into the weekend, which I really like. Before I get into it, if you could like, subscribe, comment, I really do appreciate it. Almost at 200 subscribers, but let's get to it. So yesterday was a bit unlucky. I mean, I was riding pretty good just yesterday. I mean, it happens. You can't expect to be perfect or spot on every day. Upsets happen in sports, so it's a thing. So I'm just going to bounce back today. Ended up going, I think all my picks were wrong yesterday, 0-4. I went with the underdog, they lost, and then all the favorites lost, which is, I mean, you don't see that happening all the time, and I don't think that will happen all the time. You'll have an upset, at least one upset I've noticed every slate, but it won't be where every favorite loses. But like I mentioned in the LCK right now, we don't know what these teams are looking like. The season's barely starting. A lot of them are barely in their first game or second game today. So it's kind of hard to tell what they're going to look like in this meta. The thing with League of Legends, you need to worry about the meta a lot. So if you're not watching it, it's kind of harder to just predict it based off records and all that stuff. So today I'm looking to bounce back. I think I'm 21-11 on the season as far as my picks. Yesterday really killed me, so let's hope we can bounce back today. But I'm going to try something different today and kind of go game by game. I'll go through the odds and then we'll go through the picks. So we got Sandbox Gaming versus Damwon Gaming. I think Damwon are the biggest favorites on the slate, and they are my favorite play if you're going to play cash or like 3 max or single entry, in my opinion. They're like the safest play, in my opinion. I do like them. And then you got Dragon X versus Gen G, which is practically a toss-up. In my opinion, two of the top 3 teams in the LCK. Dragon X did just beat T1, which was known as the best team in the LCK just yesterday or 2 days ago. So I feel like they're coming out with something to prove versus Gen G. So I do like actually Dragon X against Gen G, but I can see the argument both ways. I mean, obviously Vegas even sees that it's a toss-up. Both teams are good. I'll get into that deeper when I get into the breakdowns. And then for the LPL, you got E-Star versus LNG, another close matchup. We kind of got more info on both of these teams as of now, so I'll try to go into that. And I personally got the underdog winning LNG. I'm a big E-Star fan, but they haven't been looking like themselves. Losing their mid laner, Crying, just kind of seems like it's hurting them. But Fen's not playing bad, so I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with them. I think they're an underperforming team right now. And LNG's been overperforming, which I'm hoping they can keep that up. We'll get into that as well. And then Fun Plus Phoenix versus Team Wii. I'm surprised these odds are that big. Team Wii's been on fire to start the season. I think they have the highest upside on the slate as far as just like you can see their AD carry, their mid laner getting over 100 fantasy points on any night, it seems like. But Fun Plus is not a slouch team. Fun Plus Phoenix is a defending champions. As far as world champions, they're a top 3 team last split in the spring. So they're a really good team. They were in the MSC, the Midseason Cup. They played pretty solid. So they're not a bad team. They made it to the finals, and they lost versus Top Esports in that. So they're not a bad team. So, they had a slip up early in the season, which I'll get into. But I am picking Fun Plus Phoenix to win. I am picking LNG. I'm picking Damwon, and I'm picking Dragon X. Those are my picks for today, and I'll dig deeper into selection and all that stuff. So I'm going to try to do like a game-by-game breakdown, see if that you guys like that better, or just so I can go deeper into each team and the positions. But I don't want to make my videos too long is the issue. People do watch them, but it just takes longer to upload and all that stuff, but I'll try my best. So for the first game, we got Damwon Gaming versus Sandbox. We won't know the starting lineup, so I'll try my best. Sandbox did play a game already, so we can kind of assume what they're going to put out, but we really don't know. I mean, they did lose. I don't think they'll do any subs this early in the season, but with the LCK, you just never know. Luckily, we'll know these starting lineups before the slate starts, maybe like an hour before. If you go over to Kenzie or Mr. Mallmanger on Twitter, either one of them will probably upload. Most likely Kenzie and then Mallmanger, which retweet it. But the LPL lineups aren't really out either, so I'm just going to try my best on those as well. As far as this matchup, they split the matches last season. They played each other twice. They split them. DWG did make the playoffs when they made a change with their AD carry, Ghost. They started playing better. They finished, I think when he was in the starting lineup, they went like 16-12 in games, something I saw. So So it's not bad. They got better when they inserted Ghost into the starting lineup. And, I mean, he will be playing. They have virtually the same lineup that they had last split. Across the board, they have the exact same lineup. So I don't see them making any changes because they did make the playoffs. They did make the mid-season cup. They played solid. They were just outclassed by some better teams. So with that said, I mean, for DWG, if I'm playing them, I will focus Naguri. He's one of the better top laners in the league. He plays aggressive. He likes to get kills, so he's not a slouch in the top lane. He's not like a passive guy. He really likes to go for kills, which can lead to deaths as well if it doesn't pan out for him. But that's kind of what you want from a top laner, someone who's going to be aggressive and get you some kills. And then the other guy I would focus is obviously Ghost at the AD carry position was super solid for them last split, like I mentioned. So those are two key pieces I would obviously focus on, with Showmaker being the third option. And then the team stack, I really like Damwon in there just because I think they're going to win. I think they're the easiest to predict as far as this slate. Everyone else is kind of in a toss-up, in my opinion. It could go either way, and Damwon Gaming will probably be the highest owned team just because they are the biggest favorites, and I feel like they're the most likely to win against Sandbox. With Sandbox didn't look too good. If I am playing anyone on Sandbox, I would really just focus around Route. Hopefully he's starting over Leo again. And then Jungle on Fleek. He was one of the better junglers in the league last split. Just on not a good team. So it's kind of what I'm looking at with that. Which I actually will plug in. I really like plugging in Ghost. I like plugging in Naguri. And then I like a 3-man stack with that. That's something I'm looking at early on right now. I don't mind that. So I'm just going to plug them in just because that's the stack that I'm really looking on with smaller entry lineups, which I do usually tend to enter. Then we're going to go over the next game, Esports and LNG. Just breaking this down. You got Zhao Bai in the top lane. Got to be careful. CJJ has played a couple games as well, so just be careful with the sub. This is not somewhere I would prioritize if I am playing either of these teams. Last split, E-Star beat LNG 2-1, but the teams are a little different this split. E-Star has been underperforming. LNG's been, in my opinion, overperforming. So hopefully they can continue that today, because I am picking LNG to win. LNG did beat, if we go over, they did beat Fun Plus Phoenix. They 2-1 them, and then they beat RNG, another good team that just beat JD Gaming last night. So they're playing solid. E-Star, on the other hand, has been losing teams that they should beat, like BLG and LGD. In my opinion, they should have beat them, but they're underperforming, and LNG's kind of in that same tier as them, it looks like. They're in the same tier, so that's something I'm looking at. If you're going to be playing any of them, LNG, you're going to want to be playing Light. And I was messing around with the lineups, and I'm able to fit. These are probably my favorite two stacks, LNG with DWG, because I do like to be different. I don't just like to play all these chalky lineups where you can fit Light in the captain spot, or you can fit Ghost in the captain spot. That's kind of the stack that I'm looking at. And then the other guys I would focus for LNG is Maple in the mid lane, and then Duon in the support. Pairing them up with Light is just super solid. Light's been just dominating in victories this season. I mean, in his 2 wins, over 100 fantasy points in both wins. Against FPX, he had 138 fantasy points, 12 kills, 15 assists. He's only dying 3 times per match, which is super solid. It's just kind of the stack I'm looking at when I'm rounding out my stacks like that. Looking at a 3-3-1 or a 4-3 really in this way. So that's kind of what I like as far as that. I think E-Star will lose. And then going over the next game, you got FPX versus Team Wii. FPX 2-0'd them last split. Practically the same lineups as last split. Nothing has really changed. The only difference is Team Wii's looking a lot better right now. They're beating teams they're supposed to beat. That's what they're doing. They beat IG because IG hasn't been good this season, so I don't really worry about them. EDG, about the same tier as them. Vici Gaming, they're better than them, so they're supposed to beat them. Suning was a game where they should have won, but they didn't, which kind of surprises me. So it's kind of like, I think Team Wii's a team that's trying to break into the top 3 or 4, and with a victory like this, they might be in the conversation. So they could go out there and just try to prove a point and win. But I think Fun Plus Phoenix is going to try to do the same thing. They're going to want this victory just because Team Wii has been playing well, and losing to LNG, I'm pretty sure these guys want to go out there and prove a point. They beat BLG, which they were supposed to beat. So there's nothing exciting about that, I guess. Nothing to get happy about with that. But like I did mention, Team Wii has the highest upside. I mean, guys like Ming at the AD carry position, and then Morgan in the top lane are guys I would focus if I am playing them. Super high upside. Morgan likes to play carries in the top lane. So, and then with this price tag, he's just super solid. But if I am playing this matchup, what I'm deciding it on, I think it's going to come down to the top lane and the jungler in this matchup. Beishang is playing better than Tion, but Tion is world class. I mean, he's super good, super solid, consistent. He knows what he's doing. I mean, defending champion. He's really good jungler. I think it's going to be handled in the top lane with Khan and Morgan. If Khan is starting, if Goon is starting, he might just be like he's a passive like top laner. Khan and Morgan are the same style. They like to play aggressive. They like to go for kills. So you can really go either way. They're two guys I would include in my stack if I am playing either side of that game. And then going over to the last game, you got DRX versus Gen G. Gen G, they were the #1 seed last split. I would say they don't have no games today in the playoffs. They did get swept in the finals by T1, so they are really good, though. And I think these two teams are pretty well balanced. DRX did beat them in the Mid-Season Cup. They've only played best out of 1, though. And DRX did beat them. And then the last split, they split them 1-1. But the last match, the match further in the season, DRX 2-0'd them. So they're kind of like 3-0 against them in this season. Going into last season, as far as games, they're 4-2 DRX. So I do like DRX. Like I said, they came out and beat T1 in the beginning of the season, which was known as the best LCK team. So I really like that. And I think they're going to try to prove another point today and beat Gen G. But Gen G's on the same boat. They're going to try to prove something as well, that they are the best team in the league practically. And then as far as these guys, the guys I would really focus on is Deft, one of the best AD carries in the world. 8 kills per game, 18 assists per game. He only played 1 match, but he's even dating to last season. I mean, he's been in the league forever. He's just super solid, super consistent. A guy I would pair up with him is Chovy in the mid lane, and then I really like Pyosik in the jungle position, where I think this match is going to be won. I think they've been doing a good job in these last 3 games that they played against him of pressuring the jungler Clid. And that's really where they've been winning. I went back and looked at the film, and they're just putting a lot of pressure in the jungle, invading his jungle, making him really uncomfortable. And Pyosik and then Chovy are really benefiting off of that. So I really like that. If you do play the other way, I mean, BDD is the best way to start, in my opinion. Ruler's all right, but I think BDD is the heart of the team as far as their carries. So I think he has a higher upside as well. And then Rascal in the top lane, I don't mind him. He's had some huge games last season, so this is a game where he could have one because Doran isn't the best either at the top lane. So kind of goes either way in this matchup. But that's something I'm looking at right now. Like I mentioned, those were kind of my picks. I wanted to try something different today, see if you guys like that better. Just a little more insight on each team. If you do want to play the underdogs or something like that, you can do that. But this is the way I'm going. Going to DWG, the favorites. LNG is my underdog. You can swap like Knight. You could put Ghost in the captain spot, and then you could put Knight at the AD carry position. Light, I mean. Either way, Light has more upside in my position, in my opinion. So I do like him in the captain spot. But if you want to be different, Ghost, you put Ghost up there, just because everyone will be on Light today for sure. So this is what I'm looking at. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.